Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha with Nature Niche, and this week I want to talk to you about one of my favorite feathered friends. They're back, the dark-eyed junco. One of its nicknames is snowbird. That's what my grandma always called them because they sort of signal the arrival of snow and winter weather. And there are 6 different forms with 15 different races. It's quite a variable species. Those 6 forms out here in the eastern United States, we have the slate-colored dark-eyed juncos, but there are also the gray-headed, red-backed out in the southwestern United States, the Oregon dark-eyed junco out in the western United States, white-winged and pink-sided, more out in the Rocky Mountains and western Great Plains. So this species is in the sparrow family, and the types may occur in mixed flocks where their ranges overlap, and it responds to changes in daylight and temperature, and then they migrate in flocks to the rest of the United States, East Coast to West Coast, during the winter. They'll also travel with other sparrow species and bluebirds. So you can see them in mixed species flocks as well. And there is a hierarchy within the dark-eyed junco flocks, and the early arrivals tend to be higher in that hierarchy. Here in Midland, we're sort of on the northern edge of the wintering range. The northern lower peninsula and parts of the UP might have this species year-round. Its breeding grounds are across Canada and in the western mountains, and they will flood the rest of the United States during the winter. It's one of the most abundant forest birds in North America, and it's fun to see it in flocks under our feeders during the fall and winter months. Its habitats include forests where they breed from sea level all the way up to 11,000 feet in elevation, often in coniferous forests with pine species, Douglas fir, spruce, and other fir species, but it'll also occur in deciduous forests with aspen, cottonwood, oak hickory, and maples. And in the winter, you'll find it, and during migration, in a much broader range of habitats, including open woodlands, fields, roadsides, parks, gardens, and our backyards if we have trees and shrubs nearby. This species nests on the ground, on sloping ground, or amongst tangled roots from upturned trees. And it occasionally, if it's in an area with humans, will build within or next to buildings, on window ledges, in flower pots, on light fixtures, things like that. As far as identification goes, look on the ground, under ground cover, shrubs, under your feeders. For a medium-sized sparrow, they're about 5 to 6 inches long. They have a round head, an overall dark gray body with a white belly. They have a long tail with white outer feathers that they'll often flash. And they have a small light pink bill that really contrasts with their dark face. They spend about 65% of their time on the ground. They tend to hop around the bases of trees and shrubs, and they make forays out into more open ground for fallen seeds, but often take cover pretty quickly again. Their calls are pretty varied. They do a high chip note that's given sporadically as they're foraging, and they can do higher musical trills as well during the breeding season. As far as food goes, they're primarily seed eaters, and that includes the seeds of chickweed, buckwheat, lamb's quarters, and sorrel. That's about 75% of their year-round diet. But they'll also eat insects during the breeding season, things like beetles, moths, butterflies, and their caterpillars, ants, wasps, and flies. And at feeders, they tend to prefer millet over black oil sunflower seeds. They tend to like to eat on the ground beneath the feeders, but you'll occasionally see them land on platform feeders or eat from the trays of other types of feeders. And they'll also occasionally take berries from shrubs as well. So they forage by hopping, scratching, pecking at the ground, and then flitting through vegetation, gleaning either insects or seeds, food items from the twigs and the leaves. They're very, as you can see here, very agile in tangled vegetation, very comfortable in the underbrush. And I enjoyed them just this morning. They were going to town on the white snake root I have going to seed right now. It looked like some of the bee balm. I had left some knotweed that I hadn't planted, uh, but I thought maybe perhaps the birds would enjoy that. So they were taking advantage of that and some zigzag goldenrod. So neat to see them hanging out and feeding happily on my native plants. Banding data shows that this species can live to be at least 11 years old in the wild, and they are quite numerous and widespread. Populations have decreased by about 50% from 1966 to 2015, so not as drastically as a lot of other species, and it is not on the 2016 State of North America's Birds Watch list. So while not really in peril or a major conservation concern, you can support these species along with a lot of other sparrows and our other wild birds in your landscape. Plant native plants. You can see how much they enjoy bebopping around eating the wild seed, and you can provide bird seed with some white millet or Niger or sunflower chips or hearts as well to help supplement their diet. But really having that native vegetation and shrub and tree cover as part of your landscape will help you attract this really fun fall and winter visitor. I hope you get to enjoy them in the coming weeks and months. And yeah, enjoy your dark-eyed juncos and have a good week. Take care.